What's up, it's King Steph, and so this chapter we actually get a POV switch to Yuki, Tengen, and Choso. And yeah, we got some pretty big reveals regarding Yuki and even Tengen. And Kenjaku appears in this chapter as well. And I swear the more he's in a chapter, the more ridiculous it becomes. But let's go ahead and just get into all of what happened. First of all, Yuki Sakuma was a former star plasma vessel like Riko Amane. I didn't expect that whatsoever, but this actually makes sense as to why she met Tengen before everyone else and how she knew there were supposedly other vessels out there. So that was definitely a way to open a chapter, to say the least. One of their talking points in this discussion is the vessels. When Tengen couldn't merge with Riko, she decided to create this barrier, and if she does happen to evolve and her ego spreads, she can live with her rationality of decisions. And yes, I said she, because Tengen is technically a granny apparently. Makes sense as to why there were so many young girls in terms of vessels. I guess it kind of clicks together. Yuki being pissed about how the vessels are treated is definitely a warranted response, because like she says, having children bear the weight of their karma and using their history as rationality is very selfish from her point of view towards Tengen. Especially when Geto and Gojo went through all of that trouble to protect Riko, and she gets killed, and then Tengen just decides, well, it's okay if I don't merge. It's kind of messed up. Also, the vessels that already reside in Tengen are talking, but she can't hear them, and only Yuki can. It must be like a vessel thing where she can just, I guess, hear their thoughts. And that's kind of dark in terms of like just that notion of there are fragments of these kids' souls that just live in Tengen's body. That's kind of crazy. And now Yuki denies telling Tengen what they're saying because it'd be pretty pointless. And the last bit of this dialogue we get is Yuki saying, "I won't make it easy on you," and Tengen saying, "I would have liked to talk to you longer." It's pretty ominous, to say the least, in how this conversation ends. I don't think they're fighting, but I think something is happening while they're saying this. It's November 16th, 12 a.m. This is 2 days after the armies pulled up in the Culling Games, and the one and only Kinjaku has broken past Tengen's barriers and is above the Tomb of the Star. Really cool spread right here. And Choso is the one waiting for him in the tomb. And honestly, this whole aesthetic that's going right now and the vibe is really nice. It has like a mystical yet like emptiness feel to it. I think like when it's something like this gets animated, like I think the whole vibe of this is gonna be really cool. Choso's there, of course, because he wants to kill Kenjaku for what he did to his family. Kenjaku is looking for Tengen, but the walking thumb isn't trying to see him right now. So Kenjaku literally calls Choso disposable fodder, and please try your best when you try to fight me. Bro, Kenjaku's like trash talk his trash talk game is kind of underrated. Now, the Culling Game has served its purpose, and the preparations for all non-sorcerers have ended. Choso is concerned about this and confused, worrying about Yuji and the others. So Kinjaku wants to show Choso a possible conclusion to what he's doing, and somehow they're in a movie theater. And this caught me off guard, but was pretty funny nonetheless. Choso just looked disgusted, like this dude can't be serious right now. And Kinjaku goes over Yuki wanting to optimize cursed energy and wanting people to become sorcerers and make a world with no cursed spirits. And I have to just comment on the artwork. The way Gege shows like in the future panel, he'll show the movie in the scenes, and like he'll even put the black lines to indicate like it's a movie screen. Really cool. Kinjaku doesn't want a world with no cursed spirits, and by her statement, it made him happy because of the way she thinks. He hypothesized a potential new form of cursed energy with the half-breeds like Choso by combining cursed spirits and humans. But he was disappointed in the result, as they became, in his words, too ordinary. Of course, Choso is like, bro, watch your mouth. Watch how you talking to my brothers or I kill you. And Kinjaku is just so laid back and goofy in these scenarios. It's like he just knows the world is just at his hands. He talked about his idea of merging Tengen with all non-sorcerers. This would actually take all of the non-sorcerers, 100 million of them to be exact, with Tengen's cursed energy and form a giant curse of accumulated cursed energy. Almost just like a big black hole of cursed energy that's just forming, and it'll create a cursed spirit of its own. But this thing looks insane. This is a shadowy figure that Kinjaku just kind of has an idea of what it would look like. And it honestly looks terrifying if you were a human and you saw this. It almost reminds me of like Aaron's founding Titan form. And man, could you imagine if we actually got to see something like this in the story, and how the cats had to combat that? Oh my god, like Kinjaku, like that whole thing really was like, that was one of those shook moments. And Choso now wants to know, why is Kenjaku doing all of this? What is your motive behind everything that you're doing? Kenjaku says that it will just be fascinating to him. I want to know for sure if the cursed energy accumulation of 100 million people is just a laughable clown face. What if it turns out to be that? What would you do? I know for myself, I just laugh. And then we get an enraged Choso charging up piercing blood to end the chapter. That was definitely one hell of a read for a chapter, to say the least, because we got a lot of revealed information, and I give this like a solid like 9 out of 10. Any chapter with Kinjaku at this point, it's almost like you just have to put all your divided attention towards whatever is going on. But, well, I think we should go ahead and, start writing our eulogies, get that grave, prepared, because Choso, he's my boy, but he's not lasting. Whatever this outcome is going to be, this fight, he's gonna meet his end, and I'm not looking forward to it, because Choso, if he gets bodied before he can even like resurrect his siblings and meet Yuki again, which we all kind of thought was happening, it's gonna be a sad affair. But the Yuki and Tengen reveals were definitely interesting. Yuki being a star class vessel, I feel like I wouldn't say that's something we should have expected, because Gege does this a lot where he puts foreshadowing in characters in certain scenarios that come back later, and then when you reread and look at what's going on right now, it just makes sense. Like all the dots are connected, and it's like, oh wow, why didn't I put that together? But it's really like he's really good at doing stuff like that. And the Yuki stuff, it just makes her character really, really more interesting. Like how can she listen to the vessels? What happens to the? I actually do want to know what happens to the bodies after a certain amount of time. What does she have any special effects, or like is there anything like a special effect to her body because she's a vessel? Like it's just little things like that. I'm curious. I don't know if they're important, but it's just what I want to know about her. And she's definitely, a lot of people were kind of like suspecting what if she was a neutral role or figure, but to me she's definitely not neutral. She's definitely a good person, or a good guy, I want to say, especially like the way that she was like talking to Tengen, how like disgusted she was with everything that was going on with Tengen and those vessels. You can tell she's definitely never going to like go against us or do something just for herself. And Tengen being a girl, I guess, is a less reveal. I mean, it's very slight, doesn't really matter, because even she says it's literally pointless that whether I'm a man or a female, but I guess it just makes sense why all the girls or all the vessels were girls, so I guess that's that. But the Kinjaku stuff, Kinjaku, the more and more he's in these, it feels like he's a mad scientist, but he definitely, I just feel like he has other motives, like ulterior motives behind what he's doing. But just from what we've gotten, I don't know where, Kinjaku just leaves so many questions, because it's like, okay, he finishes off Choso, he's definitely gonna go straight for wherever Tengen is, and then he's gonna have to fight Yuki, which I know Yuki, realistically, she has to defend Tengen, not because she wants to, but you need to, or the world is really going to be fucked up. And then it's 2 days after the armies are arrived, so now whenever we go back to the colonies, it's going to be 2 days past that, and now it's like 2 days have passed. What happened? And Kinjaku, like I've theorized, these guys, the armies are just pawns. They're just pawns and distractions for them to focus, because the whole Culling game, to me, the more it goes on, it just feels like one big just like diversion until he gets to Tengen. And then Urame isn't by his side, and now I'm wondering, what is Urame doing behind the scenes? Because we know she's got plans with Sukuna from Shibuya, and he told her, just do what you have to do, and I will eventually meet back with you in his original body, per se. So it's just a lot every time we get chapters like this. My mind is just racing, like what is going to happen next. But that's honestly all I have right now. Great chapter. Let me know how you feel about everything in the comment section down below. I'll holla at you on the next one. Peace.